Hey everyone, this is a David Mosier medium Scourge. It was made earlier this year in April, and if you're not aware of David, his work is really pretty well known, but in the higher end market, and it's something that is more niche, I would say, with regard to you definitely are into knives. You kind of know what you want, and then you'll land on someone like David to make a knife for you. He's 100% handmade, no CNC. Everything's done in a pretty old school way. He's been making knives for around, I believe, 30 years now. And so he's got a ton of experience. He's got more than maybe, I'll say, three or four different models out there, maybe even five or six. And this happens to be the medium Scourge. This one features a window and a CPM 154 blade, along with green. I'll say they're green, kind of yellow, but more of a green, lime green, kind of like a day glow green show scale layered with black, and the material is G10. And then it's got jimping on the black here, or on the back, excuse me, like you can see. Really cool. The back side of it, to frame lock, is got this orange peel finish to it that's really kind of grippy, but then not at the same time. Hard to explain. It definitely won't slip in your hand, and it's got this really cool aesthetic to it as well. Hardware black, as you can see, and I believe it's just some sort of baked on finish. I'll say Cerakote maybe, or something like that he's using for that. Feeling the hand, excellent. Move this up just a little bit. Oops, too much. The feel in the hand's excellent. I love this medium size. As you can see, pretty much nothing comes out the back end there. Just a really solid purchase. And then it's got this swedge down here, which personally, it's a bit of a reach for me. But if you had larger hands, maybe be more of a natural thing, you'd kind of come in and cut that way. Um, but yeah, beautiful grind on the blade. Try to get in a couple different angles there. I mean, look at that. Great, just excellent work. All done by hand. Now I'll try to bring this up just a little bit so you can kind of see the orange peel finish a bit better. Excellent lockup. No lock stick, anything like that. I mean, to be honest, it's just, in a lot of ways, kind of the perfect knife when considering high-end customs like this. Table price on this is about $2,000. I think his base price for most of his knives is 2015. So $2,000 in $2,015, and I bet you in his head it's $2,000, and then that $15 there is for shipping, because it's just 2015 shipped for one of these things. Now, if you add in like a Damascus blade, I believe his surcharge for that's an additional $1,000. So you're definitely paying more money by a long shot for once you get into fancier materials. But when it comes to like standard G10, CPM 154, or Magna Cut, 2015. Size wise, compared to some other common knives, I'll pull out my Chris Reeve Sebenza, put that up here. This is a large Sebenza 21, and then then I'll pull out a Strider PT right here. It gives you a good idea. So it sits comfortably in the middle of those two. And for me, the perfect size. The Strider PT is always comfortable for me, but largely because it's got this front choil. A little bit small if it didn't have that. But because of this, it's actually one of my favorite carry knives. Then this with no front choil, but the slightly larger handle make it pretty much the perfect fit. And then of course everyone's, or a lot of people's favorite, the 21, just the classic. An excellent grip in the hand there. So it gives you an idea. Weight wise on this, let's put these away. Whoops, let's put this in the right units. Boom. 3.87 ounces, or if you wanted to round up, 3.88 ounces. And then let's go ahead and throw the large bends on there. 4.65. And then the PT, 3.17. So it sits really close to the PT here, and yet it's a little bit larger of a knife. Actually by quite a bit there. And then when it comes to the action, it's actually my favorite probably of all the knives I own, or it's right up there top, 3 or 4 or 5. Why? It's a very strong detent, but it's not unmanageable. Fires out hard. You can reverse flick it well, and you kind of got to ride the clip a little bit, but you can even roll this thing out. Let's see if I can do it. There you go. A little bit difficult to roll out, and you kind of got to get familiar with the knife before you can do it comfortably, but possible to do. And if you go to David's Instagram, you'll see that he puts right there on his bio, I make strong detents, or it's something to that effect. So he wants you to know that, hey, if you get one of my knives, it's going to be a strong detent. Now, this being a windowed variant, supposedly the detents are slightly lighter than his thumbstead variants. That's a bit of internet theory. So maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But I'll say that with this, it's very easy to reverse flick it, and it's very easy to thumb flick, and it's possible to roll out, which with a knife with a detent like this is usually not difficult or not easy to do. Pair that up with the fact that it's got very smooth action, it just makes for a knife that's one of my favorites. I like the drop shut aspect of it too. You have to shake it shut a little bit, not hard, but certainly a little bit. And I like that. I don't like a guillotine. So very controlled closing. In the pocket, you can see here, it sits pretty deep. Zoom in a little bit. There you go. Guess right about there. Right about there is where you're gonna get it. So not super deep, but also not too far out. Let's see. Any other thoughts on this thing? Yeah, I would say, you're definitely paying a lot of money. David's got a really big name. Like, once you've done your homework, as I mentioned here a few minutes ago, you'll definitely see his name come up as one of the best makers out there. And it really shows in this knife. I was very impressed when I got it. Once you start getting into the knives of this cost, whether it's machine assisted customs, you know, max or full customs, you can be disappointed real quick with the quality. Like things get hyped up, you get it in hand and it just lets you down, especially for the cost. This is one where the fact that it's all handmade, I think it's worth it. The cost is a little high if you just look at it from a material standpoint, but the execution, his knives are executed so well. You can't find really anything negative about his knives. Like there's never someone complaining about lock stick, poor fit and finish, blade off center, the blade grind not correct. It's always just done right. And so he in himself is a bit of a machine, right? Like he just does it right. He's done it so many times, he's done it for so long, he knows what he's doing, and he does it right. So from that aspect, I think it's worth it. If you cough up the money, have him build you one to your spec, you'll certainly be happy with it. Supposedly, he's going into a soft retirement starting January 2026. And if that's the case, you know, it'll be hard to get on his books, of course. And, you know, who knows? You know, what's that even mean, a soft retirement? If I had to guess, it's probably, you know, he's going to make 5 or 10 knives a year, like one a month, which really, I think he makes maybe double that right now, a couple a month. So he's just cutting down in half, but it's already pretty hard to get on his books. And so if he's going into the soft retirement, it's probably going to be near impossible. So if this is something that you are interested in, you know, having something made by him, definitely get in touch with them as soon as possible. See if there's any slots open between now and the end of the year, or maybe the first part of 2026. On the secondary market, these do command a strong price, but not, you know, table. With some of the custom makers or machine knives, you know, machine assisted customs, they hold their value at table price, or can even be a little bit over, even in this down market. With David Mosier, you can easily get them, I don't know, I'd say like a knife like this would be about $1,500, maybe a bit more than that. And then some, you know, some older models or older, you know, makes, I've seen them as low as like 1,200, 1,000. But those are typically quite a bit older. You know, you can just tell by looking at them. Newer variants, you can expect to pay $1,400 to like $1,800. So you can save a few $100. And at that price, it represents great value when, you know, you're considering the execution like I was talking about. So yeah, it gives you a good idea, hopefully, of what to expect if you were to get something from David. And I hope you enjoyed this video and thought this variant was something cool to look at. Please like and subscribe. I plan on getting more videos up between now and the end of the year. We'll see how much time I've got though. Thank you. Bye.